Today we are talking about a basic 3-point lighting setup. The video is meant for beginners, so if you're just starting out, this is going to give you the basics. Let there be light. Hi there everyone, I'm Amy from The Video Lady, and today we are talking about basic lighting techniques that you can use to make your videos stand out. I created The Video Lady to help women tell their stories using video, and I'm here to give you the information you need to create, edit, and market your videos. Now, if you're wondering about what equipment I'm using in today's episode, I'm giving you access to my full gear list in the description below, so make sure to check that out as well. In video, the first and the most important light is the key light. This is the main light. If you're filming video, the key light is basically going to shine on the front of your face. Now that could be a selfie light if that's all you have, or you could have studio lights or soft boxes. Those are gonna work even better, but a selfie light is a great way to go if you're just starting. The usual rule of thumb is to position the light at about a 45-degree angle above you, and also 45 degrees roughly to the left or right of center, depending on your lighting preference. As an example, in my studio here, I've actually got my key light over here on my left, so that's shining a little bit brighter, you can see on that side, and on the right side I have a window, so that's lighting my face just a little bit less. But keep in mind that this might be different depending on what kind of a situation you're dealing with in your video space. If you have a lot of overhead light or you've got bright sunlight, then you might have to experiment with the angles differently because of shadows and that kind of thing. Now, the second light you're going to want to have in your shot is the fill light. Now, if you notice here, I already mentioned that the light shining on the right side of my face is coming from a window. And if you don't have enough light on the right side of your face, it would actually show up in a shadow. We don't want that. We want the fill light to even out the light on my face and make it a little bit closer matched to the key light. Again, the rule of thumb is to position the light at about 45-degree angle and left or right or center. But generally speaking, you just want your fill light to be a little bit less than your key light. So you want to play around with those to get the right balance for your preference. Now, the reason for making the fill light just a little bit less bright is to make sure that your face doesn't become totally flat. If your face is too evenly lit, it's going to actually be harder for the viewer to distinguish the nuances of your expressions and things like that. And it's also going to give your lighting a bit more flat, kind of amateur feel. You want that portrait feeling you get from having different levels of light. We're going to move on now to the third light in our setup in just a second, but before we do that, I just want to say one more thing about lighting. Remember that if you have a good lighting setup when you film, you're going to be able to make some adjustments to your footage in post-production when you edit it. Shooting with adequate lighting gives you a ton more flexibility when it comes time to edit. We've got the key light and the fill light all dialed in now, but now it is the 3-point lighting system, so let's just move on to the final light in the setup. This light is called the backlight, or it's also called sometimes a rim light. The backlight has a couple of really good uses for you. The primary use of the backlight is to define you against your backdrop. If you're doing a video where you're the speaker, it's harder for the eye to pay attention to you if you are disappearing into your background. The backlight provides definition around the edges or the rim of your hair and your shoulders to help make you look like a three-dimensional person so that you stand out in your video. Now, backlight can also help with the shadow situation that we were talking about earlier, or it can help you create a light, bright background for your shot if that's what you're looking for. And that, my friends, is 3-point lighting in a nutshell. You know, I always want to provide a good value for you, so I've also included a link in the description below to provide you with a diagram of roughly how your 3-point lighting should be put together. So make sure you check that out. And then I also just want to close with one last point, and that is this: that you shouldn't forget when working with lighting that there is no one single best way to set up your lighting. You want to play around with it until you find something that you like. Lighting is a whole art, and you can spend a lifetime perfecting your craft if that's what you want to do, or you can spend a lifetime making videos, which is probably more what you want to do. So if you're just getting started, don't obsess about creating the totally perfect background. Get your setup to 60 or 70% of what you want it to be. Make sure there's good light on your face, and then improve it incrementally from there. If you have any questions about anything that we've talked about here, please make sure you post them in the comments below, and we'll answer them on a future episode of Ask the Video Lady. If you need more tips and assistance, make sure you check out my website at www.thevideolady.expert. You'll find the link in the description below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, tell other people about it. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time.